Hey, what is going on, you guys? Welcome to another episode of the Trainer Talk. Today, we're going to be speaking to the high school athlete or athlete in general, or maybe a parent of an athlete, because we think that CrossFit would be a very good option for a workout method or fitness method after you graduate or when you're in college and beyond that, because it's the sport of fitness. So it's actually a competitive way to, you're working out, you're competing against other athletes. So, for example, we just finished up the CrossFit Open, which is a worldwide competition where anybody can compete. And then they have different stages from there. But we also have local competitions throughout the state all year long where you can go and compete in the sport of CrossFit. So it's just a very cool way not only to stay in shape and improve your fitness and your strength, but also for the athlete that misses that competitiveness, whether they play basketball, football, hockey, whatever sport they were playing. If they want to remain competitive because they enjoy that, CrossFit's a very good way to do that, because you actually get to compete against other people and you can compete against yourself. So, for example, we have workouts where we have them for time or for max weight lifted or other areas or different tests, and you can repeat them and try to test yourself throughout time to see if you're getting better. So it's a very cool way. Today, we just want to talk about our experience with it, and then hopefully motivate some athletes, especially in high school, to maybe give this a try and see if it's something that they enjoy and could see themselves doing, after they graduate, once they go into college and beyond that.
Yeah, I definitely missed the competitive aspect of sports from high school, and then going into college, I didn't have that anymore. And, you always had like your season and you prepped, and I loved the games. I loved the team camaraderie, but like just seeing yourself improve year after year is also really cool. Just going out, having fun, doing what you love and excelling at what you do it's really fun and really rewarding. And then I feel like a lot of high school athletes then miss that when they get into college, freshman 15 and all that kind of stuff. And, it can be almost like avoided or prevented by having something else to turn to fill that void that is missing when sports are gone. So CrossFit is great in when it keeps you in shape. It keeps that competitive drive alive. Like, even if you just do the Open every year, it's still something to train for. Like, hey, I want to get better for next year's Open. And then doing like the local comps and doing it with like a partner or a group of 3. And then you have that team and the community aspect, which is super cool. Like that's where it kind of brings back the memories of sports. And then, you go out to dinner afterwards or like team dinners and stuff. And it's very reminiscent of the athletic days in high school. Now that we've transitioned more to the sport of fitness. And I think that it could really help a lot of those high school athletes transitioning out.
Yeah, I mean, I think you see a lot of, whether it's high school athlete or even like a college athlete, whenever they stop participating in that sport, they just literally lose their identity. They have no idea what to do. A lot of them end up just not working out at all, putting on a bunch of weight, having health issues, just because they don't know what to do on their own outside of like a coach telling them what to do. So that's the awesome thing about CrossFit is like there's so many different programs out there. They're like never ending. And so you always kind of have like that coach telling you what to do. And then especially if you can get yourself in a CrossFit gym and working out with other people and other coaches and stuff like that, it just kind of brings back that competitive nature, and then you don't totally fall off the wagon like we see a lot of, especially I think college athletes do. One thing that I really love about CrossFit is like we did a competition, Bethany and I together, and it's just so different than like when I would play a volleyball game or a basketball game in high school. Like, you weren't really friends with most of the other people on the other team because you were so like, maybe that's just a high school thing. You just were kind of at each other's throats and you didn't really make new friendships. Where with CrossFit, like even if you're competing against somebody else, like you high five at the end, you hug at the end, like you make new friends even though you're competing against each other. So everyone is just so encouraging, and it's just one of the most uplifting atmospheres that I've ever been involved in. and even though you may be competing against each other, which I think is just really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm glad you brought up kind of like the team camaraderie and the community of
Yeah.
it, because, you know, anybody that played a high school sport, like when you're on that team and practicing with those people every day, and then when you play games, whether you lose or you win, like you're doing it together,
Mm-hmm.
and you form a bond and you
Yeah.
have really strong relationships with those people. CrossFit, it gives you that same type of feeling, like you're doing these hard workouts and putting in the work with people right next to you, and once you're done, you all feel uplifted and you feel motivated, you feel like you succeeded and accomplished something together. And honestly, quite frankly, like I did, the first 8 years of lifting was like bodybuilding type stuff. And honestly, if you walk into like a 24-hour gym, every single person's got their headphones on, they're just by themselves, they're lifting, and honestly, going from bodybuilding to CrossFit, I could never imagine going back to bodybuilding, because it's almost boring. It wasn't nearly as fun, and I didn't get that sense of achievement and accomplishment from it, from really pushing myself. And I feel like athletes, they get that sense of accomplishment from pushing themselves, seeing what they're made of, especially with other people as a team. And that's kind of what CrossFit's tried to develop, is the community aspect, people working together, forming great relationships, and then also testing yourself, not only versus other people in the world, but just you versus you. Like, how much can you accomplish and how much can you notice? Like for me, I truly noticed what I was capable of after I started doing CrossFit. Like I never thought I could walk on my hands or do a ring muscle up or a bar muscle up or anything like that. Like, when I was bodybuilding, I was just as strong and I looked the same, but I wasn't able to do all these other things that now I'm able to do. And honestly, in high school as an athlete, like my favorite part was the team aspect, getting together with my buddies, goofing around, playing, having a good time. It wasn't even just the competitive aspect. And with CrossFit, I really truly found more of my competitive aspect with myself, found something that I'm truly good at and very passionate about. Not even just the environment of it and getting together with people. But with that being said, like we just started a brand new program and we've been following it. So going back to that coaching aspect, we don't have a physical coach coaching us, but we're following a program that's laid out for us. And there's there's 5 of us doing it, and we get together and we do the workout together, and it's a ton of fun. And we're kind of pushing each other, competing with each other. So that makes it just way more enjoyable. And it just, like Bethany mentioned, it keeps that competitive spirit alive.
Yeah. And I like how you brought up with us training together now, because I spent a decent amount of time training by myself. I would maybe do like one workout with another partner, like on a weekend or something like that. But most of the time I did a lot of solo sessions this last year. One, because I was like coming back from my ankle and I couldn't do a lot of the things. And then 2, like the time wise, it just didn't work out quite right. So I did have to get my sessions in at a different time from everyone else. So I was like, okay, like I'm just going to do, work on my own things, focus on myself, which I think is really good, because then you don't fall into the trap of comparing yourself to others. But like there's a huge piece missing when you're not doing it with other people. Like just this past week and even times prior of just having a workout partner, it's so much more fun. And then this past week having like 4 people training with, like it's a whole different atmosphere and vibe. And like you put yourself so much harder in training. Like we did repeat mile tests. And I know that I went way faster having Riley to pace against versus just if I were to run it myself. Like I probably wouldn't have pushed it exactly that hard. But it's a camaraderie thing of, it's not like I want to beat her. It's just like, okay, she's doing it, I'm going to keep up with her. Like it's just someone to kind of help push you forward, and you're also pushing them forward. It's not I need to beat you because I want to be better or whatever. It's like you're both going towards the same thing, and you're using each other to kind of like propel you forward and get even more progress and more results that way.
Yeah. I think like CrossFit workouts give you such more of like a purpose to your workouts than any other type of working out. Like I did more building style before doing CrossFit, and like it was fine and it was fun, I guess. But yeah, like Taylor said, like once you do CrossFit, it's hard to go back to bodybuilding. Like I've had to kind of take a step back from CrossFit because I've had some issues being pregnant with my back, and it sucks. Like it sucks so bad. I have to tell myself every single day that this is temporary, but it just goes to show like how much of a purpose it gives you, how much of an identity it gives you. And like, even if like, I mean, we only did the CrossFit Open workout and then one competition that we went to together, or that's what I did. So I only did like 2 competitions out of the entire year last year. So that may not seem like a lot, but I almost feel like every single workout in itself is a competition with CrossFit, because you're just trying to better your time. You're trying to go faster. You're trying to lift heavier every single workout. So even though you may not be going and competing, it does feel like a competition just about every single day, which I think, I don't know, just drives you and just pushes you and makes the workout a lot more fun.
Yeah. And it kind of makes you like it puts you in an uncomfortable situation.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like some of the workouts that we do, you don't necessarily want to do it. And that's where having community really helps. But once you're done with it, like it challenges you. And once you're done it, you feel accomplished and you feel like you succeeded. Kind of like, before a game, like your nerves are going and, like maybe you don't know what the outcome's going to be. But once you get going, you start enjoying it. And then at the end, you always feel really good, maybe unless you lost. But in CrossFit, you can't really lose. Every workout, even if it was a bad workout, you're still going to feel better when you're done. Nobody ever regrets a workout, whether it was a good one or a bad one. So that's one positive thing. And just for any athletes out there, like we've been really trying to push CrossFit to, teens, kids, and athletes right now. And a lot of them are very hesitant on doing it just because of the name CrossFit. They probably see videos on YouTube of like fail videos and stuff and what we do. And it kind of gives us a bad name. But honestly, like you just have to give it a try. Because I was the type of person that I literally made fun of CrossFit for like 3 years when I first learned about it. So a couple of my friends in college did it, and I literally made fun of them for doing CrossFit. Like, oh, what are you doing these butterfly pull-ups for and all this stuff? And then once I actually tried it, I realized what they were doing, and then I fell in love with it. So just if you're the type of person that's like, I don't want to do that, I like my lifting, that's fine. But I'm just saying I was the exact same person. I did bodybuilding and I wanted to be a bodybuilder for like 8 years. And then I made the switch. So I've been there, I've done it. And I can honestly tell you it was the best decision I've made. I'm way fitter, I'm way healthier, I have way more energy. I can do a whole lot more. And I love the competitive aspect of it. And I would never go back. And it really challenges you and pushes you. The stuff like the 2 mile repeats, like the 1 mile rest, 1 mile, we didn't want to do that, but it makes you do stuff that you wouldn't normally do. And then you feel very, very good and accomplished after. And it moves you towards your goals and makes you fitter. So, a lot of times people come in here and especially the guys, like, they're going to be hitting chest most days and arms. They do stuff that they enjoy, but they don't ever get out of their comfort zone and do stuff that is going to push their limits. And that's what I really think the competitive nature is something that's pushing your limits and challenging you to grow and get better as not just an athlete, but as a person overall. And it's going to translate into your everyday life once you can build your mental mindset and your discipline and do those hard things that you don't want to do every day. Everything else in your life gets easier as well, which is another huge benefit.
Yeah, there's way more benefits to CrossFit than is like led on to believe. Like you said, in different, maybe it's like Snapchat or Instagram, like they have all like the CrossFit fails, or they have like the CrossFit stereotypes where you're doing a bunch of weird stuff, and it's like, okay, sometimes some of the stuff we do is kind of weird. Even the other day, we were like, if someone walked in right now, they would probably just walk right back out the door because they'd be like, what are they doing? But everything that you do in CrossFit, and Caitlin, you kind of touched on this, it all has a purpose. Mm-hmm. So it's not just to look a certain way. Like, would you look great if you did CrossFit? Sure. But like you have way more purpose to your workouts of, hey, I want to get better at this specific skill, or I want to get stronger, I want to get better at metcons, or I want to be able to do a muscle up. Like, to me, a muscle up or a handstand push up is like hitting a home run in softball. It's like very few and far between. It's a very like big milestone to like you get your first pull up or you get your first muscle up. It's like getting your first home run or your first touchdown or whatever that milestone is for you. And it's just as rewarding. And then like it just keeps building on from that. So you're never satisfied with where you're at. So you always just keep pushing and keep working on getting better. So it's like the sky is basically the limit. Like, unless you get to the CrossFit Games and keep winning and dominating. But even then, they're still like, I want to break the programming and dominate even more. So there's no cap to what your potential is for improvement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I remember being terrified to start CrossFit. I swore that I never would. And they were like, oh, we're going to get you to do, these two were like, we're going to get you to do CrossFit one day. And I was like, I'm good, like it's fine. And then Bethany like sneakily was like, hey, you want to like do this workout with me? And I would do like a Metcon with her and a couple times every once in a while. And then eventually I was like, okay, that's like way more fun than what I'm doing. Yeah, it's different. Yeah, it's weird, but it's just way more fun. And it's so much more like it's functional movement. Like, I mean, just doing bicep curls and squats, like, yes, those are still great to do, but you're not, I don't know, like learning how to do a clean or learning how to do a snatch, like those are things that you don't think about, but you actually need those to do in your daily life and to lift heavy things safely without hurting your back or whatever it is. Like, it's just, CrossFit is just overall, like, I don't know, just way better, I think, for just life in general.
Yeah, I think it suits the general public and athletes. And we're actually going to do two separate videos on this, because we want to talk specifically to athletes today. But just to touch on a little bit, like the functional fitness, like you mentioned, like CrossFit was designed originally to help people be able to do their day-to-day tasks easier. So things like carrying groceries, picking up the kids, cleaning the house, like we do movements that mimic things that you do outside. But going back to the functional movements and like the Olympic lifts and the squats and deadlifts and all this in pull-ups and handstands, those really high skill, very functional movements, they provide more of a neuroendocrine response. And especially in ladies, actually, you will build more muscle mass than you will with like any other program. And that's why if you see videos of the CrossFit Games women, they are absolutely shredded and they are strong as heck, because the lifting that you're doing, it actually helps you build more lean muscle mass, which I feel like is every woman's goal, is they want to build lean muscle mass and get toned. You might not get to that level because they train like 4 times a day, so you don't have to worry about that. And that was something else I wanted to touch on, is a lot of the videos you do see, they're either going to be fail videos or the professional games athletes doing crazy stuff. So neither of those things really apply to your everyday CrossFit that you would end up doing. So just try to keep an open mind when you do try it. We still do bodybuilding movements, we do powerlifting, we do Olympic lifting, and then we do your traditional, your cardio and your HIIT training. It's just a combination of everything. It's a cross between all the types of lifting. That's why it's called CrossFit. So just keep an open mind about it. I would say just try it once and start easy. Like me and Caitlin actually start the same. You started by doing a Metcon kind of here and there. I did the same thing. We were doing a heavy powerlifting split with bodybuilding. And then our friend Chase was like, hey, let's do a Metcon. We did like 1 Metcon a week for a couple weeks. And then it was 3 Metcons a week for a couple weeks. And then it's like, okay, I want to do more of this Ollie lifting. We did Ollie lifting. And then it just led to a full-on CrossFit programming every day. So just start with some and see if you like it and then go from there.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing for me to add is kind of, when I got into it, I was doing more of the powerlifting and bodybuilding type split too. Hated cardio, always hated cardio. And
Same.
Like, I was like, nah. And I was like, but it looks cool to lift heavy. Like, that's all I want to do. I just wanted to be strong and like had lots of muscle mass and everything like that. I just wanted to focus on that. And then I came here because I liked the sport of CrossFit, but I just didn't do it. And it wasn't a thing at the gym that I was going to. So I started coming here to be around that more, tried, rope climbs and a bunch of random cool stuff. And I played around with it a little bit on my own, but not a lot, and like cleans and stuff like that. And then it didn't really start until working out with like you and Katie and Martin. That's when it was like, okay, now we're doing this like 5-6 days a week and really going all in on it. And it was really, really cool to just see how much change you can make so fast in the beginning too.
I'm glad you brought up like the cardio thing, because that's one of the main reasons. Like a lot of my friends, a lot of the guys in the gym that I talk to, like they're like, oh yeah, I just don't want to do the cardio part of it. Like I don't have any endurance, and I was the exact same way. Like I was the same build, but like I could not run a mile. There's no way. Like my cardio was supersets of chest and back and arms. Like that was my cardio, was supersets. And that's what I said. And I, as a gym owner, was like, I'm having all my clients do this cardio and these HIIT training workouts to lose body fat and lose weight, and I can't even do what they're doing. I need to start doing some of this stuff. And that's what kind of intrigued me to start, okay, maybe I should do some of these Metcons. And if I could do it, because I hated cardio as well, now it's one of my favorite things is finishing with the Metcon. Like I love the heavy lifting. Yes, I love the Olympic lifting, but I really enjoy doing the Metcons because of the feeling you get afterwards. So just from somebody that hopefully I can relate to you, I was a high school athlete. I hated cardio. I loved lifting heavy. And now I can tell you that this is way better than just doing your traditional bodybuilding. So hopefully you want to give it a try. You guys have anything else to add? Okay. So we'll wrap it up. I think that was about it. Hopefully this inspires somebody to at least give it a shot. You could drop in and do a class. You could maybe just, reach out to one of us. Maybe you want to just join us for a Metcon, or look up a Metcon on, Pinterest or Instagram, or Google one, and just give it a try and see how you feel afterward. Find a buddy that maybe wants to do it with you and just start doing it and see if you like it. And then we could always help you find the right programming for you. We've actually tried and tested like 5 different CrossFit programs that are very popular worldwide. So we could help people get started. And with that, they have different levels. So we have the elite level, you have a standard RX level, you have an intermediate, and you even have like beyond that, like a scaled or beginner or masters. So anybody can do this sport and test themselves and become better. So until next time, make sure you like and subscribe and stay healthy. And we'll see you.